All right, guys, what is up? This is my first YouTube live, and I plan on doing many more of these as well. And just want to make sure here. So, going to be talking, like I said, we're doing many more of these every week. I'm at the Northern Virginia, DC area real estate market and local news and all that as well. So, feel free to watch anytime, comment anytime if you're in here. So let's talk about some big news in the area. And then I definitely want to touch on the local real estate market, kind of tell you guys what I'm seeing. So right off the bat, the big news that Raytheon is moving their headquarters into Arlington. So definitely not surprised by this. From what I have been told, I've said this in prior videos as well, to be able to get these government defense contracts, especially in government contracts, the Pentagon and the Defense Department is wanting to see you more and more be locally around the DC area. And some of these companies like Boeing, their headquarters was out in Chicago. I think Raytheon was out in Boston. It's just starting to become a mandatory thing if you want to get some of these large contracts. And it's obviously part of the reason why Amazon moved to Arlington and Amazon Web Services. It's just a lot easier when you have the boots on the ground. So I don't know if it's going to bring a ton of jobs. It'll bring a lot of high level, high paying jobs for sure. And their space is going to be right next to Amazon's, I believe. And then they're the second largest defense contractor right behind Lockheed Martin. So they are going to be a huge to the local economy there in Arlington as that Arlington market starts to get better and better. And then other huge news, which I was like completely shocked. Their very first one in the area, Lego, is actually opening a factory down near Richmond and Chesterfield. And it goes on to say it's 1.7 million square foot factory. It's going to take them about 10 years to get up there and get it built and finished. And they're going to invest $1 billion and it'll bring 1,700 jobs to the area. It's going to be 340 acres on a solar park. And the solar energy is actually going to produce 100% of all their energy needs. And looks like they said the full production will begin in 2025. So not huge for like the Northern Virginia area, but huge for Virginia as jobs and all that start to come around there and bring in some new type of factory style jobs. So obviously it's kind of cool to be Lego and all that. And I really like it. We got the solar farms coming around a lot. Especially in the Nokesville area. A lot of people don't know this. Some of these data centers, they have to have a certain percentage of clean energy. So they're bringing in a lot more solar farms. I know of somebody that wanted to sell some land over in Nokesville. Their family had like 100, 200 acres, and they ended up converting it over to a solar farm. So definitely interesting stuff. For sure with that. So let's talk about the big one, the housing market, which everyone, wants to know about. So I had an interesting thing happen this weekend. I'm going to be talking about the market stats and what I think is going on. So obviously the Fed raised the interest rate up, which that really won't have an effect on the actual interest rates yet. So they should be probably around like 7 to 7.5 by come fall. But right now they're floating around 6. From anywhere from like 5.75 to 6 and going up and down. And the thing is, I thought this would actually have a huge effect on the market, but it hasn't totally like annihilated the market or anything yet. Now, sales are down, which I will talk a little bit more about that. But I was out this weekend helping a couple moving from out of state. They got a job with Fairfax County government. They wanted to be in Manassas, and they have a high price range. And anyway, we wrote on a place for $890,000, and the place had multiple offers, and this guy's interest rate was up there as well. And I was shocked. I thought for sure there would not be multiple offers. There was, and then there was only like 4 or 5 other places in that ballpark that we could see that matched their criteria. So honestly, like there was a ton of activity this past weekend, which also shocked me because typically in Virginia and DC, the market isn't that great with all the high school graduations, college graduations going on right now as well. So that actually to me was sort of shocking, and if you guys have any real estate questions, I see there's a few people watching, definitely comment in the box there. So anyways, let's talk about our local market here and what's going on. So I kind of did a previous video where I talked about year over year for May, and what I ended up finding out was sales were down about 20 to 25%, which honestly, like, That's a lot. So we're down about 0.25% of sales. And I could really tell the last couple of months here, things really started to slow down a little bit. And there wasn't as much like interest, and houses were sitting on a little bit longer, especially if the house isn't fixed up and ready to go on the market. And it's just like kind of halfway put on the market, or half-assed, for lack of a better term. But let's talk about each county, like each area individually. So Prince William County sales are down 13% year over year. That doesn't mean the prices are down. So most of these places, the prices were up year over year, about 10 to 12%. The Prince William County sales were down about 13%. And then Fairfax was down about 11%. So they're about dead even. Now, Fairfax gets a little interesting because it's obviously the more hotter market. It's really diverse, meaning there's a ton of like lower end condos, or expensive condos, or huge single families, where Prince William County, you kind of get the same townhouse, single family style houses pretty much everywhere. The one that really shocked me, to be honest, is Loudoun sales were down about 15% as well, which my guess is some of the new construction stuff that was going on has started to really slow down. I know most of the building right now in Loudoun is more towards Brambleton condos and things like that. So Loudoun sales were down about 15% year over year. And then you go into Arlington, and there wasn't much change in Arlington. It was down about 2%, which most of that is going to be the condo market, things like that, more higher end stuff. So obviously Arlington, still one of the hotter markets. Makes a little sense as people moved into Arlington. I actually did a video on a high-end condo complex in Arlington, and they were telling me most people that were moving, and they were retirees from out of state, which completely shocked me because the average price for a condo in there was like $1 million. So Arlington's still one of the hotter markets around. The only thing with Arlington sometimes is some of these condos, the fees are like $500 to $800 a month, and they take a while to sell. And then the big shocker to me was Fauquier County, a little bit further out. Their sales were down 22% year over year. So Fauquier definitely really slowed down. And it's funny, a lot of people will ask me when they're moving out here, especially, is they're like, hey, we're thinking about moving out to Fauquier. It looks like it's cheaper. Fauquier really is not that much cheaper compared to like Haymarket or Gainesville or Loudoun. Maybe a little bit more cheaper than Loudoun, but it's definitely not really a great deal most of the time when you go out there. And the people out there have fought a lot of the growth, which, the housing and all that still comes, but part of that fighting all that growth is you stop a lot of the road. So 29, when you get up towards Gainesville, is still a mess, and the traffic there is terrible. So a lot of people, when they come out here to move out here, they drive that drive, and it just isn't that great of a drive. And the traffic and all that is bound. There are not as much new construction going on, obviously, with supply chain issues and all that as well. So the market here not taking a huge hit, which like some places like I know Austin, Texas, which was a hot market, pockets of California are really getting slow. Our market is not quite there yet. My guess is we're going to be in for a hairy, next 3 to 6 months as the Fed did all the things they did to slow down the inflation. But I don't know if it's going to have a huge impact on our local market here. So if you guys have any other questions, I know this was like a quick live video. Definitely let me know. I'll be doing more of these. So just a quick update on the local real estate market here in Northern Virginia. I never know whether to call this channel Northern Virginia or DC, but anyways, thanks for watching this quick update. I'm going to post it back up on YouTube. Comment below what else you guys want to see me talk about. As always, as I say, I'll see you at the top or from the top.